Yo, all right. So today I had a one of my Crystal Mirror Space Experience clients. It was a couple. They were super nice, and it was they came from Oakland, and it was this older black lady, super cool. Who she was the one that booked it, right? It was a surprise for her. What the hell? My car just did its own thing. Oh wow. Um, yeah. So she booked it for her husband, or I couldn't tell if it was boyfriend or husband, but her significant other. And So she asked for a very interesting selection. She asked for the song. This was super random, right? Later, I found out that it was actually a song he liked, called "Grantchester Meadows" by Pink Floyd, and I had never heard of it. It was off this album that I learned was called Uma Guma, which who the I don't know. I didn't read up why they called their album Uma Guma, but they did, and it was like one of their early albums, like in the I think late '60s or maybe early '70s. I don't know, but so okay, that was one of the songs which I learned, and I learned it. It was a trip, and it was a really random song. I was like, okay, this song, sure. I don't see why of all their songs. And then she asked for uh, "Can't Touch This" by MC Hammer. I killed that. The thing is, I did Rick James. I did Rick James Super Freak, and now that's like my jam. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, of course, this is an amazing, cool song to do live. Um, then I also learned for them. What else did I learn? Oh, this is the one I learned. Sex and Candy by Alan Stone, or the Alan Stone version, which I guess it's originally by Marcy Playground, and so I learned it. I did it to the drums from the beginning of Sexual Healing by Marvin Gaye, which was one of the songs she said too, right? And so she also said Jeff Buckley, Last Goodbye, but I tried. I spent time with it too, but it had like too many changes. It had like seven different unique changes in the song, and so I was using loop pedals. I have three of them, but still, like I'll do a song with like three, four parts, but once it gets past five, I'm like, this is gonna. And so I really like did the bulk of the preparing for this set the day before, which was yesterday, and it was rough because I spent the whole day on it. I thought I had wanted to give the previous day, dedicate that day to uh, practicing and this and that, but I was too beat up from the previous day where I had done like two in a row. It messes me up. Even today, yo, like I did the experience, and then it was I had gotten there early. I practiced like crazy, and I was on my feet just like and just preparing the studio and every last detail of everything. Even making sure all my batteries were like, that's a thing, because there's like how many, like 16/18 different rechargeable batteries that I have to like be on top of. Like, I can't have some die while they're there, so I have to make sure that all the batteries I'm about to use. So I have to practice with one set of batteries and perform with another set of batteries, which I don't like dozens of batteries now, right? But they look identical. So if I'm not careful, and it actually happened today, but I got I last minute I got the last minute save with that was so yeah, I have to charge all and I have to charge them. Like, I can't rush that part. Like, it literally takes like a day, more like 16 hours or something like that for the batteries, these rechargeable C batteries I have to fully charge. um so yeah, it even happened where like yeah, I one of my batteries died. So there's the whole thing, I'll be rehearsing, and then one battery will die. I'll be like, okay, boom, that one I'm about to put aside and charge it. And so I did that, but then I lost track of it. Later on, I was like, where'd it go? I was like, and I was like so out of it that I was like, turned out I had put it in my backpack, but the problem was I had already put all the charge batteries in there. I had just kind of tossed it in, so they were all mixed up basically. But I didn't even remember doing that. I just assumed. I was like, And then I started to lose track because there's just so many batteries, and I put a rubber band around like each set of like four or two sometimes, just to like, okay, this is one set. This, I don't just like mix them all up. That way, like if they're the same age, and then they can all age, whatever, right? I'm saying it's like a whole, just keeping track of my batteries is crazy. So anyway, so then but I wasn't sure if that's what had happened. I was like, okay, so there's four sets of four in my, so like 16 in my backpack, but I was like, that's how many I had charged. But then I remembered, wait a minute, no, because so I have another Line 6 DL for my pedal, which I bought like, oh god, it's crazy. I must have bought it like 10 months ago, but it's just been sitting there in one of my rooms. And the thing is, the idea was that I'm gonna which I finally did like 2 days ago. Before I use them, when you buy them, the Line 6 DL4, when you buy it, it comes in green. For whatever reason, it's the green pedal. It's green, right? But that doesn't go with my vibe. So I used to take them apart and then paint it, but that messes up being taken apart because all the knobs and everything, they like, it's hard to get them to like react the same way. So what I do now is I tape it up, and then I spray paint it. You know, Back in the day, I actually used to send it to like a auto body painting place, like it was that serious. And actually I do a better job because I use the sparkly, so the metallic silver, which kind of is not just silver but like kind of sparkly silver. Anyway, so then I was like, oh well, um, it'll suck if one of the pedals die, if the batteries die. Because figured anyway. So that one I had put one of the extra recharge batteries in there. So I was like, oh well. So then that means, God, why? How did I do that? I like put all the batteries. I put this dead set of four in with like, a dozen other charge ones, and they all look identical. I was even thinking, should I just color them different colors each one so that if I can kind of tell which is which. The point was, so then like finally when they were on their way, or not even, maybe like half hour before they got there, or an hour maybe, I uh I was like, okay, let me just change my batteries now, because that's what happens. I'll be rehearsing, they'll be like, okay, they're gonna come, let me change them now. Like, and it takes a little while because I have to like and make sure, because they. And then but I gave myself like a little while of like, I think in the back of my mind I was like, well, if one of these is the dead ones, it'll show up once I start playing. Because the thing is, it's not gonna just be dead right away. It'll give me like, I don't know, several minutes of before it, like it's like, oh no, I'm dead, 5 to 10 minutes, whatever. Um, and so, but I still wasn't sure what had happened, and like, and by this, I had extra charged ones in case, so it could have been any of these batteries. So then, like, I'm rehearsing again, and then about 10 minutes in, one of them starts flashing. I was like, that's the one. That's the one that was dead that I mixed up with everything. So I managed to. Fortunately, it didn't happen while they were there, because that's the worst. And I've made it work. I mean, it's happened a few times where I was playing. I mean, 90% of the time, I make sure they're all charged, but stuff happens, or I don't know what. I mean, there's just so many to keep track of, and so. Okay, so that's the battery deal. So you can imagine there's a lot that goes into my performances. You know, I did all those songs. And then I did like my own thing with, kind of inspired by that general selection. I did Prince, and I did Prince Purple Rain, and then I did Sade, Cherish the Day, and In Excess, Need You Tonight. Um, and I think I closed with like Brain Damage by Pink Floyd, since I had already done that one song by them. I was like, well, they'll dig something else from, by Pink Floyd, uh, much more well known than Uma Guma, Grantchester Meadows. I killed it though. Like, I did it to a DJ Crush beat called Night, and it was a trip. I mean, yeah, it was good, and they were super into it. They loved it, and they were so cool, and like, I felt good about that. Oh, crazy ass thing was, so the lady was like, Oh, have you ever heard of a group called Loop Station? And those, I remember them because I knew them. Here it was like a couple, and there was a woman singer and a guy on cello, and like yeah, I knew them back in the day, back in the early 2000s, you know. So this lady, she used to play in bands apparently, you know, and she was telling me she was like in an all female black rock group, and when she got here, she even said that it looked familiar, like she had actually rehearsed here at one time, like probably like she, you know, she was older a bit, like so maybe like long time ago, long time ago, and so um, oh no, but so she mentioned, and it was super random because I actually did a show with them, right? I opened up, um, me and them, Loop Station opened up for Thomas Dolby at the Independent, and this was circa 2007, maybe. That's the thing that I don't remember. Like, meaning like I don't know if it was I want to say it was 2000. It was somewhere between 2006 and 2008. So I'm gonna guess, but it could be 2008, could be 2006. I don't know. Um, anyway, so yeah, so I said, yeah, actually, yeah, I played with him. I opened up at the Independent for, and I was like, and it was blank. I was blanking. I was like, she blinded me with the science guy, and she said Thomas Dolby. I was like, yeah. She was like, I was at that show. I was like, what? Oh, but she didn't see me. I was like the opener of the opener. You know, I was like the first act of the night, and I remember that show too. I remember that my friend Van went. Is a homie I met, older guy I met at Guitar Center, and we became buds. Um, Real cool cat. He was there. I went with my friend Cedric, and yeah, that was back in my. I mean, you know, everything. It has been over a decade, so of course everything is different now. But I remember they didn't have me as loud as I wanted. I was like, you know, it was cool. Loop Station was the one who put me on. Who was like, oh yeah, I think I got that impression that they were the ones who hit me up. Was like, hey, do you want to open up? We, you know, da da da. Maybe someone canceled or something. Who knows what happened? But I didn't quite stay till the. I mean, I didn't stay till the end. I watched Loop Station and I watched some of Thomas Dolby, but I think I just wanted to go. I was like, I had been there for a minute, and I was like, okay, cool. Um, yeah, so that was interesting, Thomas Dolby. And the crazy thing, I was in LA once, and some like friend, this girl I knew, she like knew him, like that he had been like her babysitter or something like that, or some her parents had been friends, and so I actually went over to his place with her, but I was like with her, and he was kicking it, but you know, doing his own thing. I remember we were in the there was like a hot tub in the back, and we were kicking it in the hot tub, me and her, but not Thomas Dolby, but um, super random, super random. I think about the time I spent in LA, and I miss it. I hella miss it now. Now that San Francisco has gone the way it has, as far as with this whole lockdown situation, and it's a different vibe. You know, I mean, it was already kind of like on the decline in a lot of ways socially, but it's just not very. It's not very diverse. Like, and then I don't even mean like racial diverse. I mean like just vibe. Like there's not a diverse vibe. It's like if you can afford to live in San Francisco, it's because you know it's a whole specific demographic that is, you know, can't afford to live in San Francisco and is here and comprises what I generally see when I'm out and about. Um, you know, but I'm so you know, micro focused on my what I got going at the Crystal Mirror Space and my experiences, you know, and my craft and my studio and my playing, that I'm like, well, fuck it, I'll take it. It is what it is, you know. At least here at the Light Rail Studios, it's like an oasis of musical, artistic expression. And what's cool is actually the SF Gate, the same journalist who wrote the story, who wrote my article, um, he wrote an article about Light Rail Studios, and he talked to Nick Demetrio, who's the guy, one of the guys, main guys who runs it, And so at the Light Rail Studios, there's also like this world class recording studio, and like a whole audio, video, like studio stage and everything, you know. Um, and apparently the board, it's like they have like a legendary big like mixing board, like a $50,000 mixing board that's been all over the world since the 70s. And like I think like even like Tom Bowie, David Bowie, um, recorded on it, and Lil Wayne comes and that's funny, right? David Bowie, Lil Wayne, like, but it's yeah, Lil Wayne's come and done stuff here. Um, so, um, I think I was thinking Tom Petty because I was just watching the Prince video of when he like they were playing while my guitar gently weeps. He's on. It's like all these legends on stage. Tom Petty's there and Prince rips this like crazy solo, and um and what and Dad and Tom Petty and blah blah blah. So anyway, yeah, today it was good. I was doing Super Freak was legit. That song by Alan Stone though, yeah, that's like part of my repertoire, and that's what one of the things I love about these doing these experiences is it forces me in a painful way sometimes, often, meaning to the point that I have to play so much and rehearse so much that it's grueling, it's painful. Like and I recently decided no more caffeine. I was like, okay, it messes me up. I can't do it. I'm just gonna drink water. And but I can't lie though. Yesterday, Lane, I don't even do this, but I went to the vending machine and I bought a Coca Cola, because I crashed at a certain point. I was like, oh, okay, and I was like on my couch for like I don't know, at least 40 minutes or something. I was just laying there like, okay, I'll get up later and just practice again for hours. But it did lift me up too. I mean, I know it's not good for you. It's definitely not. And I don't even like supporting that whole vibe. At least it was like the vending machine at Light Rail. I like to support them. They have weed at that vending machine too. It's kind of awesome. Although, like, I mean, I try not to buy it there that often. I get a better deal at Purple Star. But their weed is fine. And for the convenience of it, of just walking downstairs and going to the vending machine. Yeah, today was so awesome. They were so nice, you know. They were so into it, and I still felt bad from Wednesday, or was it Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday when I forgot or I missed. I got confused. I didn't realize I had my. I thought my I thought my client was on Friday, which or something was yesterday. I don't know. I was just I've just had so many clients now. Ever since that article came out, I got barraged with clientele. You know what I mean? And it's a trip, and like preparing for each one, I put my mind to it, but it leaves me completely spent, and I don't mind because it's for my craft. You know what I mean? It's from, you know. But yeah, the amount of playing I do, it's like a grad school level of like commitment. You know, as far as like, yeah, that's like the only thing I can compare it to is like where it's just so much for so long. But hey, I'll take it because then afterwards, you know, I learn all these new songs that I wouldn't have thought of doing. You know what I mean? And that's the thing is I select which ones I learn. It's not like I'm forced to learn something I'm like not that into. Like they give me a list, and you know, and I'll pick stuff like, oh yeah, that would be badass, or some, you know, it's like I guess three different categories. Either a song I'd never heard. Well, I guess more categories. There's songs I never heard of, but and that's actually a lot of them. I just okay, and I work with that. Okay, so that's a whole other separate thing. I do something funky with, you know, it could be any kind of song. And then there's songs that I heard of and I like, but I've never played. You know, never learned how to play. And then there's songs. This is a category I like. Songs I totally know how to play, and could actually play. Then there's songs I once learned long ago and long forgot, or maybe not so long ago. Sometimes it's like, oh, like last year I did something by that group, and then I have to relearn it. Like a random one, for instance, was I learned the song. I think it's called "The Resistance" by Muse, and man, I legit killed that one for real. But it took me a long ass time. Um, and I did it though. I did it, and I kind of want to come back. Like if someone said Muse, anything by Muse, I'd be like, I know just the song. And it was for a couple, and it was a surprise for the guy. It was a married couple, and he just had like he loved it because it was like his favorite song. His wife told me, and so like when he heard it, like it was a surprise, so he didn't even know. Oh man, that was dope. You know, it's a dope concept. There's a lot of surprises here. You know what I mean? Meaning like I get a lot of my experiences are surprises. Um, so um, but yeah, then there's songs that whatever songs that I know but never try. Whatever. I think I said that one again. So I end up, not just songs. For instance, like doing "Super Freak" by Rick James. Um, really, it's because she said "Can't Touch Us" by MC Hammer, right? And I was like, oh, but how could I make this interesting? And so what I ended up doing was I got the drums from um, "Can't Touch This" off of karaoke um, like .com or some shit like that. It's basically you can get like the karaoke version of songs. They're like remade, but they're done pretty well. So you can, you know. But that one was crazy because it was the first time I seen this where you could customize which parts you wanted from that karaoke version. So you could like it was a checklist. So I just wanted the drums, right? But you could like get the synth and then the bass and then the backing tracks, like the backing vocals, like and so I just got the drums, so it was dope. Actually, I was like, oh, and it was like boom, 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 right at because it was like can't touch this, boom, whatever, very recognizable pattern. And so I got that, and I bought it. It was like $1.99 on PayPal. It's like goes to this. It's pretty great. I've gotten random instrumentals off of it that kind of really helped, especially when I'm recreating this and doing this whole mishmash. And the reason I bought it too was so I layered the instrumentals, but it was so difficult the way I was trying to do it because the way I ended up doing it because I made it so that afterwards I could take what I did and drop it over "Can't Touch This" by MC Hammer, right? And so it's more difficult that way because at the time it's so perfect that it can independently of the drums kind of be over here and not start to drift off the drums. It'll do that anyway, but like I have to keep like bringing it back in on the one. You know. Now when I do my own version where I'm not gonna like bring in "Can't Touch This," I'll just do it the easier way, which is just I'm not gonna have to match it with anything. It's just I'll play the A part here and the B part here. For the Rick James. It's the there's that dun 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 dun. Then the part the chorus when he goes, "She's alright." It goes like dun 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 dun. Hey hey hey. Anyway, like like I can't wait to do that song now. Like I can't like my version where I'm not doing the special request thing, which was cool. I almost had to do. It was just so difficult to do to match it so perfectly, but she loved it. I could tell she was vibing because it was so random. Um, but yeah, that's about to be my jam. Like in fact, I'm about to go up there and I got to start preparing for my my client on Saturday. Um, yeah, I have a no. Is it? Yep, I have a client Saturday, and actually, yeah, I really gotta start preparing for that one. But the day later, like Sunday, so Saturday. No, today's Saturday. But next Saturday and Sunday, I have clients. But last night I was supposed to have a client, but they postponed until next Sunday. Thank God. And so um, so I'll have to kind of low key still be preparing for that one, even though it's coming up. uh, I can never prepare too much or too early for these because sometimes I think, oh, it's in 2 weeks, you know what I mean? And it comes quick, and then but then I have other clients too, and other stuff to learn, and other stuff to it's it's a lot of work. But again, I don't want to I'm not complaining. I mean, I love it, but it's like it beats me up, and like part of why it's kind of I'm gonna try my best to manage this better so that I can still have a healthy balance, so to speak. Um, like for the last 6 months or so, I guess time's just gone by so fast, right? I was working out regularly, like up until about 6 months ago. I went through a period where I was running every day, but then that became like every other day or like 4 or 5 days a week, that kind of thing. Um, Up the hill, I was like running up the hill, which was a very steep hill where I live in Bernal Heights to the very top, and then by the time I get up there, I was like exhausted, but it always felt great. I was doing like something like 140 push-ups a day, or I'd do like 4 sets of 30 or 4 sets of 40, and it was great, But then what first kind of started throwing me off was that I started doing a radio show, which I don't do anymore. But for a few months, I did on KXSF. It was from 1 to 3 in the morning, Saturday nights, which was Sunday morning, right? 1 to 3 a.m. was tough, and it would always throw my energy all the way off, and it would take me days to recover, and it wasn't even like. And it almost was like, who's really listening from 1 to 3? No one's up. Why would anyone still be up when in the middle of this lockdown, or like there's no venues, there's nothing to be driving home from, and realistically the radio isn't what it used to be as far as now that the internet is everything. And so there was that, and then once Airbnb experiences came back on board, like once that reopened up like in late October, um, yeah, I've been that's been my ultra priority. So however, I'm gonna make it a point. Yeah, I used to feel better when I would do all that, and I mean, this is kind of like exercise in its own way, but it's rigorous. But yeah, I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna schedule it, and even if I have to, like, I know it's doable and it's mental. A lot of it. It's gonna take a lot of discipline because it's again these hours I put into into preparing for these experiences is real. But I guess I'll be better for it if I'm like more vibrant in shape and all that stuff. But anyway, I'm gonna call it because I want to get back in there. I just had to decompress because it was a rough week. Every week has been rough now. Like ever since that article came out, it's been a few weeks of like over the top, like blam blam blam. Like, it really does feel like grad school, but it's a good thing, and it's definitely well worth it. All right, peace.